Today's film is Clock, which was released March 31st by director Alexis Jecknow, starring Diana Agron, Melora Hardin, and Jay Ali. And Clock begins with a woman who's bleeding. She's on a swing set. It's at night. There's a full moon. All signs are this is ominous. She is, like I said, on a swing set, bleeding in kind of like a nightgown. And she hangs herself off the swing set, and a trinket falls down beside her. And then we cut to Diana Agron slowly eating a deviled egg that's covered with caviar. And it looks delicious. Um, but she's doing this at a baby shower. The baby shower is like sort of going on behind her as she's eating, and the women are all, talking about babies, but also talking about very common female issues like cysts and, the things that happen to us when we're pregnant and when we have babies. And it's body horror, folks. Absolutely. Pregnancy and childbirth is as body horror as you can get. Take it from me. I had two 10-pound babies naturally. I know exactly the horror involved. And Diana Agron's character feels very much out of place. They sort of ask her and tease her, this friend group, like, well, when are you going to want to have a baby? When are you going to have a baby? And she really does not. She does not want a child. And she has good reasons for it. She has a wonderful marriage by all accounts. Her husband seems lovely. They seem very much in love. But she has a lot of reasons why she's not interested in having a child. And it's all good. But the pressure is mounting on her. She's about to turn 38, which puts her in the geriatric population in terms of pregnancy. I wish they wouldn't use that word for women 35 and over. I think it scares them more than it needs to. But she's being told by all sides. Her dad, who's very sweet and loving, keeps talking to her about like her legacy and her name carrying on, and her family survived the Holocaust. Her grandparents were in a concentration camp, and that is part of the pressure that is put on her, that like they were survivors, they meant to carry on, like she's the only child, only grandchild, needs to carry on the family tradition. So she's getting it from all sides, although her husband's being very good about, saying, hey, let's do what's best. But she ends up seeing an OBGYN that her husband recommends. And he recommends it because her mother died of breast cancer. And he's, concerned when she was around Diana Agron's age. So he's concerned, wants her to be checked. She does. The OBGYN has this really amazing chair that looks so comfortable. And I've never seen that in an OBGYN office, but whatever. She goes to the doctor, and the doctor starts telling her, hey, they're doing some sort of studies on women such as yourself who have, quote unquote, no biological clock. And they think it may be like hormonal or mental or something's going on, that maybe they can fix you and you'll have a biological clock. So she, is like, no, I don't want a child. But then as she's thinking about it, she becomes curious, she becomes pressured. So she becomes involved with this study to restart her biological clock or give it a jump start, whatever. And she has to take medication. She has to be part of this desensitization tank, which is really scary for her. She has to confront her fears. She has to do cognitive behavioral therapy, which is a wonderful type of therapy. Please don't let this movie scare you away from it. I've never experienced it personally, but I have witnessed people experience it, and it's had wonderful results. After her therapy, she is feeling sweats. She's eating, ridiculous amounts. She's got this insatiable hunger. She's acting very strangely. There's all kinds of side effects. And ladies, we know hormones are a hell of a drug, right? They can make you crazy. And that's what's happening with her. She's going crazy, but she's also seeing things. And she's seeing this tall, creepy woman. So I'm going to sort of stop summarizing it because I don't want to give too much away, because it kind of really, ramps up toward the end. Um, as a feminist horror writer who likes to sort of dabble in dystopian ideas, this was in my wheelhouse. I liked it. I didn't love it. I felt like they tried to tackle too many issues. I felt like they tried to be a little too clever at times when it didn't really need to be. This idea of being not normal if you don't have a child and needing to be fixed is really appropriate for right now in the political landscape, when women's reproductive rights are being taken away and women's bodily autonomy is being completely ignored. And that's really what this film is about. And I felt like they could have really just focused on that extended metaphor and just rode that out through the film without bringing in the Holocaust and bringing in, there's some other things that they brought in. I felt like they tried to tackle too much and make it more complex than it needed to be. But all said, I enjoyed watching it. I wasn't scared, but it was interesting. I just felt like it was a little too much, but I didn't hate it. Halloween month is almost over. Whew, what a ride it's been. We've almost survived it. Since the movie Clock had the main character confronting her fears as part of therapy, I wanted to share a moment in my life where I voluntarily confronted my biggest fear. And I'm not talking about, traumas and all those things. I'm talking about voluntarily did this. I am extremely afraid of heights. I have a severe phobia of heights. I can't even stand on a high curb. Like I can't do bleachers. I can't do stairs with, that you can see through as you're coming down the stairs. I am petrified of heights. And my entire life, I've had nightmares of hanging bridges and having to cross hanging bridges. Like I have to cross one to get home. I have to cross one to get to my family, whatever it is. They've been recurring nightmares for me since childhood. For one of my mother's birthdays, we went to Costa Rica, and they have hanging bridges in Costa Rica. And she wanted to do them, and she loves heights. So I said, okay, I'll do them. And this picture, I don't think really does it justice. It shows the beauty of the country in this picture, but the bridges are like 220 feet off the ground, which I don't understand feet. Like I have no, distance means nothing to me. I just know I felt like I could have been in an airplane at the height that I was on the bridges. And they're about like 330 feet across. And they sway when you step on them. It's just, it's nightmare. It's nightmare fuel. It is. But I want to say I crossed all 6 of them. At one, there was one that I got in the middle and I thought, I cannot do this. I cannot take one more step. And I'm starting to panic and think about, oh my God, how am I going to get off of this? If anyone out there has a phobia of heights, you know that a piece of it is that you feel like you're falling. You constantly feel like you're falling. So to paraphrase Van Halen, you're like, well, I might as well jump. Like I should just jump and get it over with because I'm going to fall anyway. So I was starting, to get like, oh no, how am I going to get off of here? This is it. And this little beautiful blue butterfly just floated right in front of my eyes and just slowly finished the bridge. And I just followed it right off the bridge. So I did do all 6 of the bridges. And now when I face things in life that are difficult, I remind myself, you're the girl who crossed the 6 hanging bridges.